I'm going to start this video off with a hot take, maybe the hottest take I've ever had in the history of this channel. Maybe, dare I say, the hottest take in the history of the universe. I think Shane Van Gisbergen is good at this whole road course thing. I said it. There. I said it. Yeah. Understatement of the century right there. Understatement of the millennium, honestly. It's to the point that like we're numb to it. It's like it's expectation. You know, Chicago happens and Chicago, oh, he's great at the street courses. Mexico, new track. Like you can kind of, I don't think excuses is the right word, but you can kind of find reasoning to why, oh, that's why there's such a big gap. He leads 97 out of 110 at Sonoma. And then he shows up to Watkins Glen and wins this thing by like 11.116 seconds. Like, as I said, it's almost like we're numb to it at this point. Shane Van Gisbergen doesn't just win a road course, he dominates. He obliterates the field. He drop kicks him in the face. He throws him off the roof. Whatever you want to say. Shane Van Gisbergen, he's got control of the road courses. Like how many other ways can I say this? Like there's not many more ways. I said it after Sonoma. We all said it after Sonoma. We all said it after Chicago. We all said it after Mexico. Like, it's genuinely to the point. Don't know what to say anymore. I mean, he's just killing the NASCAR field that much. He's embarrassing the NASCAR field, genuinely. So, outside of that, not much. I mean, really, this race was, it was a rough one. Not going to lie. And it's not just because Shane Van Gisbergen went out and won by 11 seconds. I mean, even behind Shane Van Gisbergen, we had a last lap pass for second. I guess that was exciting. But when there wasn't a 15 to 20 lap tire difference, like, this was rough. I mean, you were behind a car and the dirty air and the just burning up your stuff. I mean, this was a tough watch. On the bright side, it was a quick watch. It was only like 2 hours and 10 minutes. One of the quickest races ever. Gotta be. But as I said, this was a rough watch. Really not much of note. Like, I'm trying to think of things. I mean, we had a bunch of different strategies because of the stages, and then there was one other caution that kind of was at a weird time in the middle of stage 2. So that kind of flipped things over for some of the points drivers like Alex Bowman, Ryan Preece, and Chris Buescher. But outside of that, like, really nothing much I can think of. Unlike Iowa last week, that was a caution fest and over the top on the wrecks. This week was just short of any excitement. Now, I don't want a wreck fest. I don't want what we saw on Friday and Saturday where people are just obliterating each other for 5th place or just shipping each other off every other lap. I don't want to see that, no. But I would like to see some passing. Oh my goodness. The Buescher, or the Bell pass on Buescher for second on the last lap is the only pass I remember. I don't remember any other passes. I guess I remember Preece, Buescher, and Elliott restarting on 22-lap old tires and tanking to the back. That's because they had 22 old lap tires. Like, I don't know what else happened. So we're going to the results of this race, and I'll try my best to remember what happened in this race. Oh, yeah, I just remembered it. Shane Van Gisbergen dominated. As I said, like, Shane Van Gisbergen dominating, like, doesn't have to do with the quality of this race. We've seen races, not even where just he's dominated, where people have dominated, and it's a decent race. It's a pretty solid race. Like, Chicago, I thought, was a pretty decent race this year. We had some chaos. We had some mixed strategies. We saw a decent amount of passing. Shane Van Gisbergen still dominated that race. That was a solid race. But today was a stinker. Once again, it's not his fault. But anywho, I don't know where I'm going with this. Shane Van Gisbergen has won his 4th road course in a row. He is literally in the process of rewriting the history books. He ties Chase Elliott for the 2nd most consecutive road course wins in history. Don't know if I phrased that well, but the most consecutive road course wins in NASCAR history was Jeff Gordon when he won 6 straight. Well, SVG has now won 4 straight. Chase Elliott did it a few years back but that's it. That's the list. Shane Van Gisbergen, in his first full-time year of Cup Series driving, is literally on pace to rewrite the history books on the road courses. Like, this whole discourse of, is Shane Van Gisbergen the greatest road course racer in NASCAR history? Like, dude, it's not like this has been a 10-year process. It's not like he's having a solid 4 to 5 year stretch. He showed up at NASCAR 2 years ago, was on a part-time Cup schedule last year, ran 2 races in 2023, and he's ran 5 road courses this year. 4 of them he won. Once again, I would like to reiterate what happened at COTA. 6th place at COTA is like 30th place for a normal person at this point, the way that they've been dominating. I'm still super confused about that race. Shane Van Gisbergen literally rewriting the history books. He is moving up on the all-time wins list, on the all-time wins, not consecutive, but the actual wins. Jeff Gordon has the most, and I think it's 9. Well, SVG already has 5. He's got more than half of that. And just, I don't know, 10 road course starts, if I had to guess, maybe 11 or 12. I mean, seriously, what he's doing on these road courses is incredible. And it doesn't matter if it's a new track, it doesn't matter if it's a street course, or if it's our traditional Watkins Glen in Sonoma. He's obliterating the field. And then on top of that, today, you got to remember what happened in this race last year. Shane Van Gisbergen puts himself in positions, takes the lead on the 2 to go, I think it was. And it looked like he was going to run away with this win when he had Chris Buescher behind him. Blows the bus stop chicane, messes up, allows Buescher to get back to him. Buescher repays the favor that happened on the restart when SVG kind of bumped him out of the way. SVG finishes second. Talked about how, in the pre-race show, talked about how it still hurt him a little bit. That, they did the interview on the bus stop chicane, how they took him back to the scene of the crime. Well, he got himself some redemption today. He can put that bad memory to rest because he went out here, not only did he win, he obliterated the field. So Shane Van Gisbergen, he wins at Watkins Glen, his 4th win of the season, tied for the most wins in the Cup Series this year. We talked about a couple days ago when we did our SVG championship case, he's got to get those playoff points. Well, that's 5 more precious playoff points for Shane Van Gisbergen. But, I mean, just everything from today. His 4th win of the season ties him for the most on the season, in the series, I should specify. Redemption from last year after blowing the bus stop chicane. Making history with his 4th consecutive road course victory. Now, the qualifying streak got ended. That's one thing he doesn't have going for him. Man, he's terrible on the single lap, isn't he? The last 4 qualifying results, 2nd, 1st, and 1st. Oh, terrible. That's sarcasm if you couldn't detect that. And then just to throw some other things around this, you know who did the pre-race intro? Like, he wasn't actually at Watkins Glen, but he did the voiceover. Marcos Ambrose. Marcos Ambrose, of course, won twice at Watkins Glen in his Cup Series career. Has been somewhat of a mentor to Shane Van Gisbergen in his transition to NASCAR. So Marcos Ambrose led off the show, and then one of his, I don't know if protege is the right words, but one of his friends, colleagues, whatever you want to call Shane Van Gisbergen, closes the show with a win. He leads 38 laps, 43 points on the day. I really don't know what else to say on Shane Van Gisbergen. He owns NASCAR on the road. 2nd place, Christopher Bell. So our 1-2 is the only 2 road course winners we've had this year. Christopher Bell and Shane Van Gisbergen. A really solid day for Bell. Scored a good chunk of points. Finished 2nd. They move up in the standings, I think. I think they're up to 4th now. So more playoff points potentially there. Don't know what else to say on Bell. He finishes 2nd. I mean, once again, not to the level of Shane Van Gisbergen, but we have high expectations for Christopher Bell on the road. He's got 3 road course wins in his career, I believe. He's consistently in the top 5. It doesn't matter where we go. Watkins Glen, Sonoma, Mexico, COTA. I mean, Christopher Bell's an elite road course racer. He's just not to the level of Shane Van Gisbergen. So there's nothing more he can do unless they put some, NOS in the car, I guess. But Christopher Bell, great effort, great finish. Chris Buescher, it was almost an SVG Buescher 1-2 finish yet again. Just, this year the roles would have been reversed. But unfortunately, Bell got him on the last lap. At this point, Buescher's points racing. it's looking less and less likely that we're going to get another winner. Daytona ultimately is that wild card where we could get, an Austin Dillon, maybe a Cody Ware. I don't know. There's still a good chance that there's a random winner there, but we're not going to see it like last year where we saw Austin Dillon win at Richmond, where we saw Chase Briscoe win at Darlington late in the regular season. That just completely nukes the grid. So they kind of have to play the points game at this point, and they did that, but they also put themselves in position to win. They won a stage, they scored a lot of points today, and they finished third. They kind of did it perfectly. They weren't going to beat SVG, and they got passed by Bell on the last lap, which that sucks for them for sure. They lose a point there, and that could be crucial down the stretch, but the 17 team truly maximized the day. I don't know what else they could have done. They played the strategy to perfection. They got stage points. They got a really good result. Defending winner of this race leads 5 laps, scores 44 points, which is the second most on the day. I mean, what else could they have done? Really good day for Buescher. William Byron fourth, after blowing a massive regular season championship lead, has regained it and rechunked it. I think it's up to 42 points now over Chase Elliott. Really solid, really quiet day. They scored some stage points similar to Buescher. They put themselves in position for a good finish here at the end. Yeah, solid day. 5th place, Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe this summer has been fantastic to him. The Pocono win, a few runner-ups, a few other top 5s. I mean, this team has been on it this summer. Ryan Blaney, 6th place, leads 35 laps in this race, wins a stage, so he does get a precious playoff point from that. But ultimately 6th. One of the better performances by Ryan Blaney on a road course. He's not exactly a super strong road course racer. Obviously, he's not SVG, but he's not even in that conversation of Bell, Larson, Buescher. Like, he's not quite in that conversation yet. But to beat SVG in qualifying, to be up in the top 5 for the majority of the day, and ultimately finish 6th, that's a really strong day. And they scored the most points, so I guess they got that going for them. Daniel Suarez desperately needed a good run, finishes 7th. Now, ultimately, they need a win to make the playoffs, so, they need that for their season to stay alive. But still, a top 10 finish for Daniel Suarez. It's been a struggle for him this year. They're 30-something in the points. They're splitting at the end of the season. It's just a top 10. Solid day for Suarez. 8th place, Bubba Wallace, who has improved massively at these road courses over the past few seasons. Gets himself a top 10 at Watkins Glen. Really good result for him. Tyler Reddick with a 9th place finish. Good result for him, I guess. He's essentially locked into the playoffs now. Mathematically, maybe not, but he might as well be. I think he can clinch a spot next week at Richmond. Ross Chastain with a solid top 10 effort. So all 3 Trackhouse cars that started the race today finished in the top 10. Of course, if you missed it last night, Connor Zilic, after the Xfinity Series race, falls off the top of his car, ends up breaking his collarbone. Trackhouse opts to withdraw the number 87 entry, which would have had Zilic in it. So 3 Trackhouse cars end up starting. All 3 end up in the top 10, and 1 ends in victory lane. AJ Allmendinger with a quiet 11th place day. Obviously, we have high expectations for AJ on the road, but an 11th place finish. Eric Jones, Ryan Preece, solid points day, but unfortunately outgained by a good chunk by his teammate Chris Buescher, which is who he is racing for that cutoff spot. Logano, Dillon, Cindric, Zane Smith, Carson Hocevar got dumped by his teammate Michael McDowell, who finished 1 spot behind him. Bowman, solid day. We'll look at the points in a minute. Gregson, Kyle Busch looked like he had really good speed early in this race, and then they got spun out, and then it just kind of unfolded from there. They end up finishing 22nd. Stenhouse, Herbst, Hamlin, road courses. Not a pretty combo, but he did have that top 5 at Chicago. That was borderline random. Chase Elliott, shockingly irrelevant. No speed in that car today. That ends their long top 20 streak that dates all the way back to the beginning of the season. An awful day and an awful time when they're in the fight for the regular season championship. I mean, they scored some stage points in stage 1 because they stayed out, but no speed. It's impossible to pass with this car. Bad day for the 9 team. Justin Haley, Todd Gilliland, Cody Ware with a solid top 30, Ty Dillon, Brad Keselowski, John Hunter Nemechek, Ty Gibbs. I don't know what happened to him at the end. They had to pit one more time. They were in the top 10, and then him and Gabe Hart were going at it on the radio. Custer, Barry, Catherine Legg, Josh Bilicki, J.J. Ailey. Kyle Larson lost his brakes on lap 5, and they decided to fix them and run the fastest lap of the race for a bonus point. So good job by Kyle Larson. Should we look at the points? Let's look at the points. All right, here we go. Reddick, as I said, even if we get 2 new winners, he's in. Unless they finish dead last and Bowman finishes second in the next 2 races, Reddick's good. So Reddick's in the playoffs. Congratulations, Tyler Reddick. Alex Bowman is good if we don't get a new winner. If we get a new winner, he's going to be close. Kind of the same thing for Buescher. It genuinely all depends on if we get a new winner, whether it's Richmond or Daytona. If we don't, then this is probably our playoff grid. 34 points is a lot. Now, Ryan Preece is a great short track racer. He might be able to make up a good chunk of points at Richmond. And then, of course, the randomness of Daytona. You never know. But I feel like things even out. And if we don't get a new winner, then there you go. So, yeah. Yeah. We could talk more about this on the Monday after. Don't know what we'll talk about on the Cup side of things. Xfinity and trucks are kind of wild. We can talk about that. That'll be exciting. Yeah. Anywho, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Once again, not the most eventful race. I don't know what else to do. Shane Van Gisbergen dominates a road course again, his 4th consecutive road course victory. As I said earlier, he owns NASCAR on the road. Tomorrow night, the Monday after Watkins Glen, we'll talk about the Xfinity Series race that went crazy. Connor Zilic and his wacky injury. Shane Van Gisbergen, where he ranks on the all-time wins list of road courses and all that fun stuff. Truck Series, whatever we got to talk about tomorrow. So thanks again for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Richmond next week. Yeah. How could I forget? Play the song.